Quality materials, skilled craftsmanship, and intuitive style are the uncompromising fundamentals of any luxury product. From bespoke fashion to high-end jewelry, to supercars and stunning homes, no country has mastered the art of luxury and style quite like Italy. This beautiful Mediterranean country abounds with culture, steeped in a richness of architecture, art and innovation. It is unsurprising then that Italy is also home to some of the most contemporary and cutting-edge superyacht builders on the planet. Arguably one of Italy's most renowned shipyards is Perini Navi. In 1983, unable to find a large sailing yacht that he could operate single-handed, founder Fabio Perini launched his own company in order to design and build one himself. His vision was to revolutionize sail furling and control systems in large sailing yachts. He achieved this when he designed and built the first prototype of what would prove to be the most successful series of large sailing yachts in the world. Nowhere is this more apparent than at the Perini Navi Cup. Dedicated exclusively to Perini Navi's growing family of sailing yachts, this renowned regatta, once nicknamed the Billion-Dollar Armada by the Telegraph newspaper, is the pinnacle of luxury sailboat racing. Every 2 years for 3 days, these vessels race a challenging course through the Maddalena archipelago, a myriad of tiny islands between Sardinia and Corsica. Of course, when the owners of these boats are captains of industry in their own right, with yachts that average $1 million a metre, what began in 2004 as a bit of fun has become highly competitive. With over 60 Perini Navi yachts in existence, this coming together of the world's rarest and finest private and charter sailing yachts is a wonder to behold, all made possible by the genius and innovation of Fabio Perini. The largest and most famous of the fleet is the incredible Maltese Falcon. Her revolutionary sailing system, the Falcon rig, set a new milestone in yachting history. With state-of-the-art, self-standing, rotating carbon fiber masts, making it possible for a single person to operate this 289-foot vessel. Commissioned by the late US venture capitalist Tom Perkins in 2006, he enlisted renowned superyacht designer Ken Freivokh to develop the external styling and interior design for what became the largest privately owned sailing yacht in the world at the time.
So I had a call from the blue from him. You know, I'm Tom Perkins and I'm an American. I've seen some of your work published. I'm interested in seeing if you can work with me. And when he appeared at our studio, driving a McLaren F1, we decided to take him rather seriously. And that was the start of Maltese Falcon. The whole project needed a very special owner. And in fact, most very good projects, it's not just having one good designer or one good naval architect. The whole team has to be right, and you need an owner who's prepared to listen, is prepared to accept innovation, is prepared to take risk. And we had all those ingredients, including also a very open and interested shipyard that was happy also to get out of the norm, if you want, and build something special. What's interesting is, once I got the brief from the owner, I think within about a week, 10 days, I came back with some sketches of the possible layout and the concept, if you want, for the look of the yacht. And the owner straight away said, "I like it, let's do it." And that was it. And it's interesting that over a period of 4.5 years that it took to build, even though obviously we had quite a lot of work to develop details and interesting aspects of the design, but the essential initial concept and sketch never changed. We felt we had the unique opportunity to go back to first principles on a number of aspects, and that included the materials we used, the concept behind the design of some of the elements. Everything was custom designed and built for that particular project. So, for example, on the atrium, we didn't want it to be a set of stairs that is just in a corner and you go up and down, to the next level. I wanted to feel that you could be on the main deck and you could still see the lower deck and the upper deck. So we actually designed sectors of glass because we also had to support the masts and the bearings. So it was an interesting combination of structure and transparency.
The Maltese Falcon has won countless awards for its futuristic design and groundbreaking technology, as well as for the unique, stylish and contemporary interior. And in 2013, it won the first Baccarat Superyacht World Trophy for being the finest superyacht ever.
The whole concept of the interior on the Falcon was one of integrated spaces, so I didn't want a corridor and rooms. I wanted it as open as possible. And so it was an interesting exercise, A, to design that, and B, to then convince the authorities that this was a valid concept and it didn't endanger life and it, provided all the safeguards. So what we have is walls, effectively, we call them bulkheads, that can actually slide and can open between one space and the next. They nest into the flanks of the yacht, and it's a project that took a couple of extremely skilled German technicians about 2 years to develop. And the other thing that was interesting is those doors bisect the bar at the back end of the saloon. So it's a sort of inside-outside bar. At times it is fully open to the whole ship, and at times, if the weather dictates, it's just open to the aft deck, half of it, and half of it to the saloon.
When the Maltese Falcon burst onto the yachting scene in 2006, she was hailed as a revolution in superyacht design. What makes her so unique is the groundbreaking Dyna rig, which uses freestanding rotating spars that carry canvas reminiscent of the square riggers of old. Despite the concept being around since 1967, it wasn't until the invention of carbon fiber and fiber optic sensor technology that the Dyna rig finally became a reality.
On the Dyna rig, obviously, it needs to look elegant, so that's maybe where we come in, but it needs to be studied from a strength and loads point of view, which is where the naval architect comes in. But then it has to also be designed and tested and built by somebody that knows what he's doing. And we were lucky to have Damon Roberts, who's a specialist on the technological side of it.
At a projected cost of $80 million, it was going to take someone very special to build such a large freestanding mast. Brought onto the team early on, Damon Roberts of Magma Structures was tasked with building the 187-foot structure, the very first of its kind in the world.
In 2000, Jerry Dykstra, principal naval architect, gave me a call and said, "Damon, I've got a challenge for you. Can you do a square rigger type rig in a freestanding carbon fiber mast?" And I said, "I'll have to think about that, Jerry. Send me through your sail plan." He sent me through the sail plan. I spent a morning calculating and went back to him. I said, "Yeah, I think we could do it." One of the reasons why I felt it was interesting was that we had previously done a modern square rigger, and we'd done the Tenacious for the Jubilee Sailing Trust, and I calculated out the size of that rig. And it suddenly struck me that the sizing of that rig was very similar to the sizing that we would do for a freestanding rig. These old square riggers, although they had a cloud of rigging, the support of the rigging is minimal. So effectively, those old wooden masts on square riggers are more or less freestanding spars. So today, what we have with Maltese Falcon is the modern equivalent of an old square rigger. actually almost following the same design rules as an old square rigger. So there's nothing new out there. There are new materials. And what's made Maltese Falcon particularly work well today is the introduction of lightweight, high-strength carbon fibre material. But what's different with her compared to a clipper ship is that the sails come out of the mast and run along the upper yard and the lower yard in such a way that once they're all deployed, it becomes more like a bat wing or a bird wing. It's continuous. It doesn't have those gaps in it that a classic square rigger would have. So it makes it a much more aerodynamically efficient shape. What we've been able to introduce to that concept was that we could go for a completely freestanding rig, so we could rotate the rig, and in so doing, we could overcome one of the great Achilles heels of all square riggers, was that rigging limited the angles that the yards could take up. So at a stroke, we're able to set the sails at a much wider range of wind angles, which means that the Maltese Falcon can sail better wind angles than an old square rigger can.
When you're dealing with assets worth upwards of $100 million, it is imperative to get it right. So every bit of machinery must be tested, and tested again.
Testing and development is a really important aspect to designing and engineering novel, new, bigger, stronger structures. You need to know the materials, you need to know how they're going to perform, and you need to know the design requirements that you're going to fulfill. So we started off with wind tunnel testing, driven heavily by Jerry Dykstra. Then we went on to structural testing, so we built a 10th scale setup using the materials we intended to use in the mast, and we took that to destruction. We set that rig up, we bent it, we twisted it, we bent it and twisted it together, and we took it till we broke that rig. We then went even further than that, and we built a full-size single panel and a full-size section of the mast, and we put that on a shipyard through the summer, through the winter, cold dust, sandstorms, snow, ice, and we furled and we unfurled these sails repeatedly. So we developed a system that we knew would work.
Completing that project, Maltese Falcon, it's given quite a lot of impetus to other possibilities. There are a number of owners now looking at using dyno rigs on their larger yachts as being a very good solution to really using the sailing side of the sailing yacht. Too many sailing yachts are just motoring for most of their lives and putting the sails only in optimum conditions. So this is a great opportunity to be greener in a way and to have yachts travel distances actually sailing in a very controlled and efficient manner.
The key aspect of the Maltese Falcon project was the team behind it. I know it couldn't have worked to the success it did without that strength of team behind it. But someone takes the first step, so you mustn't underestimate the input that someone like Tom Perkins has in getting it out there, making it happen, and that creates the first step, as it were. It's always easy to go back and do a second one. It's hard to do the first one.
Perini Navi aren't the only groundbreaking Italian shipyard. With over 40% of the world's super yachts coming from the azure shores of Italy, it is no wonder they have so many yacht builders at the forefront of modern technology and design. With clients such as Perini Navi, Benetti and Ferretti, no one understands the Italian yacht market better than the world's #1 super yacht brokerage, Burgess Yachts.
Italians are particularly good, I think, with style. It's the one thing that always strikes you when you walk on board a yacht from an Italian shipyard, such as Mondo Marine or Benetti. You're walking into something that is actually chic, that absolute sort of style, and they do manage to do that incredibly well.
Another Italian builder represented by Burgess is Mondo Marine. A relative newcomer to the yachting industry, their shipyard originally focused on naval architecture, repair and transformation. It wasn't until the 1970s, following a modernisation of the yard, that they entered the luxury yacht market and almost immediately began winning awards. The most notable was for their yacht Mohamedia, which was awarded a special prize by Lloyd's Register for being an icon in terms of quality and modernity. Their yachts continue to win awards as they set the standards for high-quality, medium-sized yachts.
Since the crisis in 2008, you saw a lot of shipyards did actually struggle through that period. And it's great to see that a lot of these shipyards are now starting to really resurge back out of that, and Mondo Marine being one. They are coming out with new designs. They're putting a lot of time and effort into the facilities that they've got. And I think all of this investment that they're putting in now is reaping rewards, combined with a marketing campaign as well, which is particularly important to be able to re-establish or establish that brand and take yourself through to the next level. And I think Mondo Marine have done a particularly impressive job of turning themselves around over the last few years. When you see a Mondo Marine, or actually a number of the shipyards, but there is a mark that actually makes that yacht stand out as being from that shipyard. And I think they've done a very good job of that as well. We had a Nameless, which is a 41, slightly smaller, but 41 metre, that we had for sale in Cannes, and incredibly well received. Very modern design, interior design, good use of space. And again, it was in that sort of size of yacht, they'd done an exceptionally good job, because it was the space and volume that you would normally look at something that was probably 5 or 6 metres longer. The new 60-metre Sarastar also demonstrates a lot of the design of where Mondo Marine from a shipyard is actually moving towards. It has a Luca Dina interior, particularly stylish. I mean, she's got a good volume. She's a performance yacht as well. I mean, she maxed those 60 metres and she has the ability to nearly touch on 20 knots. So she's fast, she's sleek, and with an incredible interior design. So I think the Italians always manage to put that combination together in a particularly good package.
We end this episode with an exclusive glimpse into one of the glitziest and most lavish yachts of them all, the magnificent Sea Lion. Launched in 2009, she was the inaugural yacht of Italian builder VSY Yachts. Originally christened Candyscape 2 after her owners, the acclaimed interior designers, the Candy Brothers, this stunning yacht set new industry standards in terms of elegance, opulence, and glamour.
Candyscape 2, our first boat, 62 meter. We started to build for our own, actually, for our own founder. It was supposed to be his boat. And then the Candy brother came by and decided to buy this yacht. It's been exciting, it's been difficult, no way. It's been an amazing experience. We learn a lot. The Candy firm, the company, explain us the importance of detailing. Because this boat was designed apparently like a sort of showroom for the Candy interior design team, everything on this boat has been made to measure. It's been made on order. There is nothing on this boat that you can buy off the shelf, and this is unique.
Renamed Sea Lion in 2013 under new ownership, this award-winning 62-metre super yacht has a top speed of 17 knots and can accommodate 12 guests in 6 cabins. The spacious split-level sun deck features a revolving circular sunbed, outdoor cinema and jacuzzi. And the high-glamour contemporary interior boasts a glass elevator, gym, and the world's first segmented sun orrery chart. Available for both sale and charter, Sea Lion is the ultimate in luxury living for any would-be owner or guest.
Sea Lion is good design, no matter the style, but this boat has been built, has been thought, been a step forward the rest of their competitor at that time. She's absolutely stunning, in stunning condition, but is contemporary. At the end of the day, this was a trendsetter. And we see that sometime on the yachting, you know, when there is something that is even too far away at the moment you launch the yacht. No secrets. We had people coming in and say, 5 years ago, too much. Now, in your house, probably you have part of these. You start to look probably at the show, this year, 6 boats with an interior not as radical, but something that is very similar. So it's a trendsetter, and it's nice.
So if you're on the lookout for a new super yacht, Italy would be one very stylish place to start. Join us next time as we go inside super yachts.